All right, welcome to One Nation, a sports soccer magazine extra. This is your host, Kirk DeMars. This is Monday, July 31st. Where has this year gone? This has been crazy. Right, almost summer's almost over, and these guys are getting ready to back to school. And speaking about these guys going back to school, we've got one outstanding young man on the program with us tonight from New Bloomfield High School, and he's on the cover of Sports Soccer magazine, the July-August issue. Benjamin Samuel Speaks. What a great young man. We really enjoyed our interview with him and had a lot of fun during the photo shoot. And he's got a lot of stuff that he's been doing. And we're going to find out a little bit more about that, what happened since school has been out, and what are his plans going into this next year. So, if you guys are ready, I'm going to go ahead and bring Benjamin on here right now, and we'll find out what's happening with him. Hey, Benjamin, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I am doing great. Hey, thanks for coming on the program tonight.
For sure, for sure.
All right. So tell us a little bit about what's been happening since you finished your junior year. What are you doing this summer?
This summer, not really much of anything. I've mostly been training for cross country season that's coming up here soon. I've been working out in the weight room and mostly just hanging out. Nothing special.
Okay. So tell us a little bit. I mean, cross country, that's some distance, and then you also do in track, you do a lot of other events in that are more, I guess, sprint related, right?
Yeah. Cross country is like 5K, so like 3 miles running, and I hate long distance, but I like to run it just so I can stay, fit for the track season that comes up, and that's when I sprint, which much better in my opinion.
Yeah.
But not everybody agrees.
Well, my brother was one that liked to run long distance, and that was the one thing that he could beat me in. And he beat me pretty handily. So it wasn't my favorite either. So uh, hey, you had a pretty intimidating look right here on the cover of Sports Locker magazine, and man, great photos. You did a great job out there. Katie took some great photos of you. Um, Tell us about that game face that you had on there and uh, what kind of confidence you have when you're competing.
Well, usually when I'm like doing like athletic stuff, my face is usually like way meaner than that. People often tell me that I have like a very angry face, which I don't even do on purpose. That's just like when I'm in the zone. And often, even though I look so angry, I usually quite scared when I'm out there. But when I build confidence, I usually just think about like, I don't know, all these other people I'm going against are kids just like me. So, they're probably just as scared, and that helps me feel better about what I'm about to do and go out there and just do it.
Yeah. Well, you've done it and you've done it well. Um, One thing I want to get to before we get into some of that is your article was titled "Pushing Through the Pain." Why do you think we chose that and describe what that meant personally to you?
Um, my athletic stuff during high school has not been easy. A lot of painful things have happened. Had a lot of unfortunate situations happen, but I don't know. Just pushing through it really important because if not, I mean, I'd probably just sitting on the couch, just eating chips and watching TV and getting fat or something. And that's not what I like to do at all.
Sounds good though, doesn't it? No, I'm just kidding. That sounds better than running long distance in my book. I'm just saying. Uh, what do you attribute the who do you attribute the character development and your abilities to? Who are the people that help develop you?
That's mostly my dad, though. Just like my dad, me and him have a lot in common. Definitely turning into him. I'm also a lot like my mom in many ways. In the way I have this desire to do something, it's like nothing can stop me from getting it done, and that's what I like to do.
Okay. Um, you know, Go ahead. You can go ahead if you had more to say there. Sorry about that.
Uh, that was about it.
Okay, you're good. All right. Uh, what's inspired you to work so hard and be so resilient in the face of some of those personal difficulties that you've had?
Um, well, mostly my dad and like him. I don't know, just dealing with him passing and everything was a lot for me to handle. So I just had to like kind of like I didn't do it by myself. Like my family helped me out, but I kind of had to train myself of how to get through that type of stuff and
Hmm.
like I don't know, push through it. Because I know if I just sit and think about it, it can get really, really rough. So I got something to burn my time, and that's why I like to run and keeps me going, keeps me focused on other things.
Hmm. I know your family has been very helpful and very supportive in helping you to continue. You've also had some coaches that have been very inspirational and helpful to you as well. No, Coach White was a big influence. Tell us about him and some of the others that have really made an impact in your life.
I know Coach White, that guy, I love that guy. Coach White, I met him back in middle school, and back then, I don't know, I didn't much know anything about like running and the athletic stuff, and I was really confused with everything. But Coach White definitely helped in like training me of like how to get better and how to be better as an athlete. And he's also a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Coach White definitely keeps me in good spirits most of the time, actually all the time, really. And I often go to him. It definitely makes me laugh all the time. And Coach White isn't the only coach that I've had help me a lot. I've had other coaches going in school, PE coaches, and athletes like my coach Moore. He also another hilarious person. Helps me keep me positive to stay motivated and hype and stuff like that.
It's good to have people like that in your life, and I know through talking to Coach White, um, he described some of the difficulty that you had with your dad passing, as well as there was a friend that you lost. I think that was this last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jake
Uh,
Sudamore.
yeah. And first of all, we want to say we're sorry for all of that loss, and I know that those types of things are really difficult. But one thing that we learned about you very quickly, that you are resilient and you are somebody that will push through things. And again, that's kind of one of the reasons why I think Jay decided that pushing through the pain would be another good title, just because you pushed through those things. So well done. Ben, what would you say to somebody that might have, that might go through a time of loss and experience? What would you tell them? What would your advice be if they had a circumstance come up like what you have?
I think the most important thing about these situations is to not sit and think about it because like you should never forget it because these are very important people and very important things that they've done in your life. But sitting and thinking about it, I think makes it so much worse. I think you should stay preoccupied on things that make you happy, that keep you positive, that keep you just uplifted, and all these other things that make you think of these sad, negative thoughts. Just cannot sit and think about those. That's just bad for you. Really bad for your mental.
Right.
It's just
Absolutely. That's great advice. Uh, one of the other reasons that we also determined that we wanted to put you on the cover for our military um, recognition, or what we call our patriotic issue. Your dad served in the military. You want to talk a little bit about that?
to be 100% honest, I don't know much about my dad in the military. He didn't tell me too many stories about it.
Hmm.
Uh, I believe he was medically discharged. I believe he had a situation happen,
Hmm.
and I'm not sure what that situation even was, but he used to tell me a few of his army stories about how he used to drive all around the country, and he would go to other countries, and he mostly drove people around, and he used to drive these giant trucks, and that's one of the reasons why my dad was such a good driver because he had so much experience.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Well, uh, we obviously we want to say thank you to your family for the family is also in service to this country when a member of the family is in military service, so we want to say thank you to you and your family for what you guys have done for all of us and our freedom. uh, Benjamin, we're getting we've gone through, we've flown through this first section. We're going to go ahead and take a quick sponsor break. You've done an outstanding job, and it's been great hearing some of these things. And I'll be back with you here in just a moment as we take a short commercial break.
Okay.
Okay.
CNS Business Services has been connecting employees with employers since 1977. Recently, CNS rebranded to CNS Employment Solutions to more clearly define their mission of serving the needs of applicants, employees, and businesses while remaining current and evolving with the changes in the workforce. One important thing has not changed. CNS Employment Solutions partners with a wide variety of employers, placing employees in jobs that match their skills and needs.
Say yes to CNS.
All right, CNS Employment Solutions, they do a fantastic job right here in mid-Missouri, and we're thankful for all the hard work that they put into our communities, as well as making sure that employers get connected with those people that are needing jobs and vice versa. Outstanding group of people. They do a great job. Also, we want to quickly recognize Big Whiskies right here in Jefferson City. They sponsor the Coach of the Issue. And since we've been talking about him anyway, this was from past issue. This is Coach Jacob White of New Bloomfield High School. And Coach White has done such an outstanding job as far as being able to pour into young men and women just like Benjamin Speaks. And so he's done an outstanding job. He just recently got married, and he's embarking on a little bit of a different adventure. He's not going to be involved in some of the things that he was before, but he's still teaching. And that's a very important thing, is having somebody like him. And we're so thankful for Big Whiskies for making sure that we feature those great coaches that we have right here in mid-Missouri. All right, we've been talking to Benjamin Speaks, and we're going to go ahead and get right back at it. Benjamin, what'd you think about that picture of Coach White there? I mean, he's got that beard going and all that. I mean, have you had to give him any tips on any of that?
I don't know. Me personally, I like his face without the beard, but everybody else likes a beard, so I can't really complain.
Okay. Well, my son-in-law, and I know you remember him, this Jay does the final page right here, and
Mhm.
that's nothing of what his beard looks like right now. His beard, like that thing's like way down here. Got a little bit of gray in it too, kind of like what I do. So that's all right. Hey, why don't you tell us a little bit about how track season went this last year and how everything ended up for you? What were the highlights?
Track season went pretty well for me. I know I had a relatively low 400 PR. It was like a 54, but then I PR'd like early in the year, so that was a big deal for me. I was really excited. I ran like a low 54, and I didn't think I was going to run any much better than that. But then one day, at one of our meets, Coach White came up to me and he was like, "I have a good feeling you'll be running super fast today." Me personally, I didn't think I was, but next thing you know, I'm running like a 52:13, which is like a 2-second PR, which was huge for me. And from that point on, I've been running super fast times and got a lot of golds this year. Had some pretty fast relay teams, and I'm pretty excited about that. And we made it all the way to sectionals.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, like the main season went pretty well for me. I was also a conference MVP, which was like crazy because I didn't think I was good enough to get MVP, but I guess I did. And when districts came around, I know I got pretty scared for my 400 race, and I didn't make it to sectionals, but I was able to toughen it out. And for the 4x4, we went to sectionals and did pretty good. Didn't go to state this year, but next year definitely hope we do. And I don't know, pretty good season.
Yeah, that's real good. A lot of people do not understand, if they've never run the quarter mile, that that is a grueling race.
Most definitely.
And you see a lot of people will try to, I mean, there is definitely technique involved in that. A lot of people would think that you just try to sprint around as fast as you could. That doesn't work that way.
No.
Take them through the process as far as kind of what you do. I mean, going from the first 100 to the 200. I mean, kind of walk them through what your strategy is in doing that, running that race.
Well, I know when I get into the blocks, easily the most terrifying time of the entire race for me. I hate that so much, man. But when the race starts, the first 100, I know my main goal is to just have a fast start and get out fast. Now, most people's favorite point of the race is the last 100, but my favorite is the second 100. I love the backstretch. I love just taking that time to pass people and just, I don't know, collect my thoughts of what I'm about to do on this next turn. And when the second turn comes, sometimes what I used to do is I used to go like slow on the second turn so I can gain speed and have a fast finish. But I've been recently taught to really attack that second turn, attack the 300, and having that has actually been way more helpful for me in having faster times. And then the last 100, for me, it's really how much I really want the race, because I could easily give up at the last 100, but if I really, really want to win, I got to push, and whoever is near me, I just got to go past them. Got to take them down, and that's how I run my 400.
Yeah, like I said, it's a brutal race. That's what I ran in high school as well. And when I started as a freshman, when I ran it, I just tried to sprint all the way around. So, I'd be ahead of everybody, and then people would catch up and pass me. By the time when I was a senior, I had developed the strategy of, sprinting out at the beginning, coasting on into the 300, and then start picking up and sprinting again. And then I started passing people that way. So I liked the second half much better as I got older. I didn't enjoy the fact that as I was struggling for air and just trying to get across the finish line, people were going by me. It's a much better feeling the other way. You do some other events too. Why don't you tell us about those?
I did a lot of events this year. I know the first meet this year, I did high jump, which wasn't too bad. I got 5.2, I believe. And honestly, I thought high jump was going to be my next big thing, but then coach took me off the high jump to do the 200. And I was better at the 200 than I thought I'd be. 200, I guess I was doing that mostly to work on my 400 splits. And I also did long jump. Long jump, I ain't gonna lie, I don't really like long jump that much, but I'm not too bad at it. But I'm really bad at hitting the board, and I just have to get better at doing that. But I also did triple jump, and it's really interesting because this year, coach came up to me one day and he was like, "How would you like to do triple jump?" And I was like, "I guess. I feel like you would know better than I would." So he put me on the triple jump runway, and I actually got pretty good. I think I jumped like a 36 that day, and that was at a practice. And the day after that was a meet, and my second time ever triple jumping, he put me into a meet, and I ended up breaking the school record, and I didn't even mean to do all that. So
Isn't that crazy? That's awesome.
it was insane. And I jumped like a 42. I was pretty excited about that for sure.
I bet you Coach White was excited about that too.
he was definitely hyped. I also ran a few relays. I ran the 4x1, which it wasn't too bad this year. Our 4x1 was pretty good this year. I ran a 4x2 and also ran the 4x4. And last year I was the first leg for the 4x4, but this year I was the anchor. And anchor is much, much different than the first leg for the 4x4, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. But it's actually really fun to run the anchor leg, and I think I enjoy that more. So pretty excited about that.
Yeah, that can be a very challenging, but also a very, I guess you would say, inspirational race, because everybody is watching you guys come together, and if somebody maybe doesn't have their best day, somebody else has got to pick it up for them, and just seeing that all play out during that relay, it's pretty incredible. So did you reach a lot of your personal times and goals this year?
Well, I didn't have too many goals this year. One of my goals was to PR for my main event, which is the 400, which I did. So I reached that goal. I was hoping to break the 400 school record this year. I didn't get to it, but I hope to get to it next year. But I did break a school record, so that was like a goal I had that I didn't even. That's not how I meant for that to go, but it happened. So I know I also had plans of going to state. Didn't happen this year, but I'm not giving up on that. Next year, definitely going for sure. Hopefully for multiple events.
That'll be good.
And yeah, mostly had goals for just the team to do good this year, and we didn't do bad at all. So I'm happy about that.
Well, and that's one of the things that we really uh, caught on to right away is that you're not really somebody that likes to brag about yourself, that you have a humility to you, and that's a very important part on, I guess, being a team leader as well. You would think some people would say team leader needs to be real loud and boisterous, but no, the people that are they're humble and they lead by their actions on the track or on the field, those are the best leaders, and we notice that about you. So, what did you appreciate about your teammates and your coaches this past year?
Um, I know I have this one teammate this year. We all thought he was going to be a distance runner because he's really good at distance, but he came onto the track and man, he's very fast, and he was definitely a big help for our team this year. I'm really happy to be racing with him. That's for sure. And we have these other teammates, like a lot of new freshmen that are, I mean, they're out here breaking school records too, and they're also really fast and carrying our team. And I feel like some upcoming students we have are definitely going to be definitely helpful when they get older. They understand how to, just be better track athletes. Definitely going to be some useful athletes. And Coach Moore, I thought he was just a thrower coach, but he also gave great advice for running and definitely was helpful. And we had a few other coaches this year, a new jumping coach and a new coach for hurdles, who both turned out to be very useful, definitely helped me out in my jumps. And Coach Wright, of course, he's the one who definitely made me a better 400 runner this year than I was last year.
Absolutely, those people have made a huge difference. And I wanted to quickly, I was actually just getting ready to do this, so thank you, Kelly. I was going to say anybody that wants to make any comments or chime in here, feel free to do that. And Kelly said, Ella and I are so proud of you, incredible athlete, leader, and friend. So thank you, Kelly, for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Uh, Somebody, I want you to talk a little bit more about it. I want you to talk a little bit about your mom and what she's meant to you, and all the different things that she's helping pour into you as you finish out your high school career.
My mom, I was born in Chicago and so were my parents, and my dad moved down here to, to get a better life. And I came to move down here, but my mom stayed up there in Chicago. She had some of the kids that she had. And when she finally moved back down here, I was much closer to my dad because my mom, she lived in Chicago. So I spent this time getting a lot closer to her and knowing her. And she's such a positive person. It's funny. I'm always like yelling at her because she's always like, having conversations with all the strangers and she really likes to make people's day. And it's pretty entertaining to watch sometimes. And I don't know, she's really a person you can really just get a smile from. Like, no matter how upset you are, she's the type of person who just walk in and you just can't help but just have the biggest smile on your face. My mom is just so sweet, and I really love her. I really do.
Well, and here's one thing I want you to know. This is going to be recorded on the internet now, so she can pull this up anytime she wants to hear you say that about her, and I'm sure that she'll want to hear that over and over again. Uh, I know that Jay and Katie, as they had put out the interview questions and they had different communication with your mom, they were just really impressed about what a neat lady she is, and we're very thankful for all the information that she helped with. So, you also have some siblings. Why don't you talk a little bit about them?
Say that again?
You have some siblings too, right? When you want to talk a little bit about them?
Oh, yeah. I have 6 siblings. I'm the youngest. I'm 7, and they all have a different dad than I do. But I mean, we don't really treat each other like half siblings. Like we're all siblings. We're brother and sister, simple as that. And we all love each other for sure. And I didn't get to grow up with them because they grew up in Chicago and I grew up down here in Missouri. But now that I'm getting older and I'm seeing them more often, some of them even moved down here. I get to see them and I get to see their kids and I get to hang out with them and I get to learn from them. They're like in their 20s and 30s, so they're a lot wiser than I am. I get to hear a lot of stories they have and just stuff to watch out for, stuff to be ready for, and they definitely teach me a lot of lessons that it just comes in handy for sure.
All right. Now, this is one thing that typically happens with the younger siblings. The older ones kind of think, well, Mom, why do you let him get by with that? And we would never get by with that. Does that happen with you?
That is not at all how it works with us.
Okay.
That is not at all. That's definitely not how it is.
All right. Very good. That's a great answer, by the way. Um, what's been your most memorable moment so far in high school, and what have you really enjoyed about New Bloomfield?
Mostly, I just like the sports part of it. Outside of sports, I don't really do much in high school. I just, do the work and I don't know, nothing crazy. I'm not into any other extracurricular activities except for Boy Scouts. So when it comes to high school, it's mostly just the sports. And I don't know, it's my favorite stuff, favorite memories definitely all come from the track season. I do have a few good basketball memories, but they're definitely mostly track. And honestly, going to state definitely the best part.
Hmm.
First time going to state, it feels so good, especially when it was my first like official year of track. So I felt so just it felt amazing. Just seeing the energy and just knowing you're like there to compete with the best of really the best kids out here.
Hmm.
So definitely the best memory, definitely the best feeling for sure.
Very good answer. Thank you. Um, I want to ask you this question too. As far as your teachers, classrooms, what's your favorite? I'm not going to say favorite teacher because that's not fair. What's your favorite study or class in school?
Well, my favorite subject is science because I love biology and animals and all that. And I just recently, this junior year, had a zoology class, so that was definitely my favorite class. Got to learn all this cool animal facts I didn't know and impress everybody with the facts that I did know. And that was definitely nice. And I really like PE class because, I get to be athletic in school, let out a bunch of energy. And I don't know, when it comes to other subjects, I'm not too really good with them. I'm not too good with like math and social studies and all those. But I know enough. I know enough to, answer some questions.
Yeah.
But definitely science for sure.
So, do you have an idea of maybe a field of study that you want to go into after high school? I know you're still kind of
Phys- I,
deciding on what you want to do.
yeah, if I do go to college, I'll definitely get a degree in physical education. I know that's one of my things. One of the things my dad got a degree in, and I always thought that was such an interesting thing. And I don't know, I just think that like learning that type of stuff, learning about the body and learning about, muscles and physical movements and stuff. I just want to be the type of guy who like, able to tell you like how your body works. If someone would ask me, what is this muscle or how does this joint work? I think that'd be really cool to be able to tell them all that. And
Yeah.
that's the type of stuff that interests me.
And that comes in very handy if you happen to have an injury and somebody knows what they're talking about and can help you get straight
Definitely.
right back at it. Yeah.
Definitely.
Um, so I want to just quickly go back to the biology part of it. I had a teacher my sophomore year in high school, and he had us memorize 100 birds.
100 birds.
100 birds. We had to memorize that, and we had to be able to tell where their habitat was. And I know what you're thinking. Well, what kind of use is that later on in life? I will tell you, as I'm driving down the highway, I can just see, okay, that's a blue heron flying across there. It's a red-tailed hawk. I can still do some of those things, but other than that, you know, if you enjoy that stuff, that's great. But yeah, 100. I don't know if
That's a lot.
I don't know if one of your science teachers are paying attention, but don't have the kids do that. It's just not fair. It's not cool. Well, Benjamin, before we get into the speed round real quick, I want to just see if is there anything else that you want to add? Anything that you feel like people would be interested in knowing about you?
um, Not really.
Well, I'm sure your mom would definitely say there's a whole bunch more that she would want to share, and I'm sure Kelly and others would do that too. But we're gonna go ahead
Probably.
and we're gonna go ahead and end this part of it, and we're gonna have a little bit of fun now with the speed round. And again, this is pretty simple. I'm just gonna ask you some quick questions, and you'll be able to just give us some good quick answers. So, since you are, and before we do that, speaking of quick, I know when Katie was doing the photography out on the track and Jay was out there as well, she had you run. Do you remember how many times she had you run past her?
I mean, I didn't count, but it
It
felt like
was
a
a lot.
lot.
It was a
Yeah.
lot. But one of the things that they were talking about was when you went by, it was like a whoosh, and they were like, "Whoa!" So they were impressed with all that. So I wanted you to know that they thought that was pretty cool. All right, so here we go. Speed round. Jay, when he was on here before with me, he would have this little theme song that he just dreamed up in his head. I don't have that, so I'm just going straight to the questions. All right,
Okay.
Benjamin, what is your favorite go-to snack or meal after a track meet? I mean, what are you really hungry for?
Usually a Snickers bar. I just can't wait to get my hands on a Snickers bar.
All right, so what size? I mean, they got those king size ones, or I mean, you go for
Well, I'll take any Snickers, but the bigger the Snickers, the better, for sure.
okay. All right. I remember somebody said one time, I wish they had a Snickers loaf. That might put somebody into shock there. All right. If you were to compare yourself to a superhero, who would that be and why?
Superhero. Um, I feel like a Captain America sometimes because I don't know. I really like to be a team leader, and when there's a lot of chaos, I like to bring everybody together. And I really like when people are not all over the place and there's a bit of order, just so we can have everything together, and so we can be more organized, and so we can be just better.
Okay. Uh, if okay, so if you were to have a celebratory dance move, what kind of animal would that look like?
I do not know. I do not know.
That's okay. That's no problem. I've had a lot of answers on that, so that's okay. Um, how about this one? Is if there's anywhere in the world that you could go, where would that be and why?
My dream place to go is Madagascar because, like I said earlier, I have this fascination for like animal life, and I know Madagascar is an extremely exotic place with a lot of creatures that can only be found there, and they have so many cool creatures there. And my dream is definitely go there at least once. I think that place would be awesome.
Okay. And what I think of every time I hear that word Madagascar, what I'm thinking of is the theme song from the movie. We like to move it, move it.
Yeah,
You can go on in there and you can bring that song with you in there. That'd be pretty cool to go there. Okay, so here's we're gonna get a little bit more personal now, and your mom may have to chime in on this if she wants to. But as far as chores around the house, which is the one that you least like to do?
chores. I really don't like taking out the trash because I have this bad habit of accidentally like spilling the trash, and when it spills all over me and all over the car, it gets so disgusting and everything is just sticky, and I hate it. And we have a long driveway, so I have to drive all the way down the driveway and all the way to the dumpster, and it's just such a stinky process, and I really do not like it.
Well, I'm gonna have to agree with you. Um, when I was in high school, and I don't know about you, but there was a period of time I like to sleep in a little bit on Saturdays after I've had a busy week of school and sports, and I'd want to sleep in on Saturday. Well, my mom would try to wake me up at 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays to take the trash out. The trash didn't
That
come and pick up until Tuesday, so why did I have to get up at 7 a.m. on Saturday to take the trash out, Mom? She just didn't like me sleeping in, so that's okay. All right, we're gonna have one more, and I want to have a little fun with this one. What Disney character would you say
is
you most resemble?
most resemble Disney character.
This could be your personality. It doesn't have to be with the way you look, but your personality.
um, Sometimes I feel like Simba from The Lion King because I just sometimes I feel like being laid back and just lazy and not doing anything, but sometimes I also feel like I really have to step up and just take control of certain situations, and which is not like what I want to do, but I know sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and
Hmm.
that's just what I feel like sometimes.
That's a great answer. Very great answer. All right, that's it on those, and I want to just say real quick again, thank you, Benjamin, so much for joining us. I'm gonna have you hold on here while I close out the program here in a moment, but we just really appreciate you coming on. I know you said that you don't do a lot of interviews, but thank you for coming on and doing this with us. And if anybody has not seen your article yet, they can get Sports Locker Magazine. And also, we have it on digital, so they can go on sportslockermagazine.com and find your article on there. And I thought, again, some great photos. This was showing you doing a little bit of a long jump. Um, Excited for your next year. Excited for the things that are ahead of you. And again, we just really appreciate you and thank you for agreeing to come on here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'll be right back with you in a moment. And great program. All right, everybody. We had Benjamin Speaks of New Bloomfield High School on the program tonight. He's going to be a senior this next year, so you watch out. I mean, he's already broken the school record in the triple jump on the second day that he had done it. He had practiced the day before, and then he competed at an event the following day, and he ends up breaking the school record. What an amazing young man. Looking forward to great things that are ahead for him. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this Monday, July 31st. One Nation, Sports Locker Magazine Extra. God bless you, and we will see you next week.